Hey man, I got none other than a guy with me, man. Oh, hold on, let me fade this music out, man. By the way, for those that don't know, this instrumental was made by yours truly. You know what I'm saying? Groovy sounds by Lonzo Star, aka Tunes Boy. You know what I'm saying? For those that don't know, I got Greg here to drop a hot 16 for us. So we about to warm him up real quick, get him a little. You know what I'm saying? Greg about to go in full New York boom bap mode. You know what I'm saying?
I got,
GG,
many talents, but that ain't one of them.
nah. So has music ever been something that you ever tried to dive into?
Yeah, actually, back in high school, I was in a short-lived rock band. I was
Really?
uh, I was the vocalist, and it's not something I was too great at, but it was a venture I was very much into. I even started taking vocal lessons. I got pretty good actually, but film took over.
How many people witnessed this journey?
I hope not many, but
I will be searching for them so I can bring them on the show to tell me all the horror stories. Like, yo, man, Greg was a monster. You know what I'm saying?
nah,
Greg
not,
was a monster to work with. You know
not even.
what I'm saying? Hold on, let me get my mic up a little higher, man. I feel crazy. For some reason, IG be showing our faces mad close. So if you wanted to step back just a little bit, you could. It should be there. You go. Now it looks straight in the IG channel.
Did you send me a invite on the IG?
Let me see. Are you following that, Joan? Yeah, on IG.
Hold on, I can open
IG
it.
be acting stank on here, man. You know what? It might mess up, bro. We might not actually be able to do it because our faces are already on IG right now.
No, but I mean, like, if you sent me. Oh, okay. I get what you mean. All right.
Right? You know what
I
I'm
get
saying? So
yeah,
it might show like three faces. You'll be like, what in the world is going on here? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But no, shout out to everybody that's on IG. We got Moon the Storyteller just popped in. Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Meech the Gamer, Royal Speedster, Ghost Reaper in the building. Alright, I see y'all. Let's see who on the other channels, man. We got a little YouTube in here. We got a little Facebook in here. Everybody's in the chat. Make sure y'all drop in and say what's up, man, to our guest that I didn't even give an introduction to yet, man. So without further ado, y'all know where we at, right? We on Konkret Approved, one of the best shows on the net where we highlight the greatest talents in the industry, whether that be comics, music, film, whatever you do. You the greatest if you made it to Konkret Approved, man. And I got my guy here, man. One of the dopest creators. I've got to witness how he works up close at the Comic Cons. Actually, my first ever panel I was on, Greg was on it with me. We were at Nerdtino. It was like 2019.
Wow.
Nerdtino. That was my first ever panel. That was the first time meeting you as well, man. Um, Also that year, Greg swept me in the Glyph Awards. So you know, what I mean, I had a little grudge that year too. You know what I'm saying? But but yeah, no, Nerdtino was first time I got to meet Greg in person. We were on a panel hosted by Javier, I think, hosted that joint.
Nah, it was. Oh, did he host the panel, or you talking about the show?
He hosted the panel. He
Okay,
hosted
cool,
the panel.
cool.
So yeah, no, that was dope, man. But Greg has one of the most renowned titles out here. Isnana. He's been a part of some of the dopest books in the industry that get highlighted all the time. It's a lot to name, actually. It's a whole lot to name. But Isnana is one that's really made its way. You swept the war shows with that one. You got the Hammer out now. You got the one with John Henry. Uh, you did the one with that other publisher. I don't know if you want to mention their name or not. So, see what I'm saying? We got a lot of dopeness out here, man. And without further ado, I want to welcome Greg to the show, man. One of the dopest. How you
I
doing, bro?
appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. I'm doing all right. Man, just keeping my head up. But what about you? What you up to?
Man, listen, bro. I'm trying to bring some positivity to this space, man. You know, this last couple of weeks has been a little crazy out here, hasn't it? it's been looking like Death Row versus Bad Boy out here, man. Cats is out here going at it, and
It's been a little fun to watch, to be honest.
it's well, it's it's been looking like Iran versus America out here, man. It's doing looking crazy. So I just want to shed some light, a little positivity in the world, man, and do these concrete approves where we really talk to the folks, we talk to the people, and we let the hold on, what we got for real, man. It's looking crazy out here, Meech. It's looking crazy. Shout out to Meech too. Meech is one of the newest up and coming content creators and comic book reviewers. His reviews are fire. Make sure y'all follow him on IG, man, and on YouTube as well. He's a game streamer, as y'all see in the name, Gaming with Meech. Dope content. Super funny dude, man. But yeah, bro. The community's been crazy. You've been in the game for a while too, man. And I definitely want to hear about that story and your journey, man. So without further ado, you know everybody got one of these, right? Everybody got an origin story, whether it's a hero, a villain, anti-hero, whatever you want to claim you are. So let's just dive into it, man. What is your origin story, bro? How did you come about into the comic book game? Did you know you were always going to be a writer? Where did you grow up at? I want to know it all, man.
So born and raised Brooklyn. I'm still here. I sadly have to leave at some point, but this is me, man. Brooklyn is everything. Haitian background, and I first got into comics, I'd say around second grade. I've been writing since the first grade. When you have your homeroom teacher, and one of the activities is writing and drawing and creating like picture books, and that just blew my mind. I was like, oh shoot, I get to do this. And writing has always been, literally since the first grade, I've always wanted to do. And I discovered comics in second grade. As I said, I was on my way to school, which is funny because I'm like, I was in second grade walking to school by myself. That shit is wild. But I was doing that.
I couldn't imagine letting my kids do that right now. Like that's unfathomable to me.
Yeah, I was doing that. And I remember passing by a comic shop on my way to school, and I wanted to come back when when school was done. And I remember finally getting some money, and the first comic I wanted was a Superboy comic. And the reason why,
talking about Superboy that had the leather coat on?
Yeah, that was my boy.
The swaggiest one of all, man. The swaggiest one of all.
And I mean, that was the thing because this was back when the new Superman were coming out after the death of Superman.
Yeah.
And there was these action figure cartoons, commercials rather, and then there was an animated aspect of Superboy. And he's like, "Don't mess with the ass." I'm like, "Yo, who is that? He looks so cool." And so that always stayed in my head to the point where when I found a comic shop, I was like, "Is there Superboy comics?" And it was Superboy number 19. And after opening up that book, I was hooked. I started opening up Batman because I was a huge Batman fan. I feel like every kid gone through a Batman phase. I was buying the Batman comics. I was picking up whatever different random ass character I could find because I was like, okay, who's this character? Who's that character? And I'd say I started writing my own sort of fan fiction around middle school, high school, created my own characters. And then I read a Peter David book on writing comics in high school. And after I finished reading that book, I was like, nah, this is what I want to do. Or like, this is what I want to do. This is me right here. And eventually, I started making comics.
That's crazy, man. It's dope that you remember your exact first comic. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people remember getting a comic, they don't remember the first one that changed them, though. You know what I mean? That started making them think about, I can do this. When was the first time you felt seen in a comic?
Like in terms of my own that I made, or like seen as in?
I mean, like seen as like represented in a comic, like, you know what I mean?
I feel like it's a multi answer, honestly, because I would say the first one where I felt like a proud black character was Christopher Priest's Black Panther,
Hmm.
and this was after years of not wanting to even bother with the character. Something about the character just seemed a little corny to me at the time,
Yeah.
and I felt like a lot of characters seemed corny, black characters. And the first one that stood out to me growing up was Bishop and Storm, watching the X-Men cartoon. And when I got to comics, though, it was Spawn that just blew me away.
Mm.
I was already on the verge of getting into like horror and mature type of books and everything, and Spawn was just so different from anything else that I've read, and that just blew me away. And that was my obsession for a while. And knowing that he was black, I was like, oh, this is
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah.
a black horror lead character, which was something that you don't quite see as much. And Blade, of course, Blade was the dude in the movies. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was. I would say Spawn, then Black Panther, Christopher Priest when I finally gave it a chance, and that just was like, holy shit, this is awesome. And
Yeah.
honestly, I say Ultimate Colossus when he came out, or they were hinting that he wasn't entirely straight. I was and
Mm.
dealing with bisexuality at the time. That was something that I was just like, fuck, this is cool.
That is dope.
Yeah,
I never even thought about that. Like, because when I was reading comics back in the day, I never even really thought about the sexuality aspect of it. Like, it was always like dude, girl. You know what I mean? That was it. It's just like breathing. You don't even think about it. But as you get older, you start really seeing a different representation all over the spectrum and how writers put it in there, man. And that's something that you do very well. You know how to tell a story and make it feel like you're in the character's world, not like we're observing it from a fishbowl. You know what I'm saying? And not many people know how to do that in storytelling, man. So is that something that you learned growing up as well? Like how to tell an engaging story that people feel like they could be immersed in instead of just observing it?
I think for me, it's a lot of it just comes from like practice, and a lot of the practice comes from observing and analyzing. There's a lot of things that I love that I try to sort of pick apart in terms of what is working about this, what is it that I'm enjoying about it, and it comes to the point where when I'm writing, it almost comes like instinctually in terms of like the pacing and how I want to tell the story, how I want these characters to feel like. And a lot of times I'm using people that I know as sort of like a spring point of how to write certain characters. How would these characters actually speak? And even trying to understand how psychology works. When
Yeah.
I took a psychology course, I didn't really care to take it at the time, but afterwards, I still had the textbook. I remember just skimming through it and trying to understand the way like the human psyche is, and the way we react to things and how we're we develop based off of our environment and how people communicate, with us or whatever situation you have in the brain. How does that determine how you interact and stuff like that? So things like that definitely I feel reinforce my writing. And in the end of the day, like a lot of my writing tends to be about black culture. And for me, it's if you write, black culture, if you write representation or anything of the norm as a norm, as something that's not really something that needs to be exotic, I think that goes a long way into allowing a very smooth read. Like you're not.
Yeah.
A lot of people say they don't like preachy type of works or works with agendas, but the thing is, every story has an agenda, no matter what.
Yeah.
It has an agenda. It has a target audience. Even the ones that people say, "Oh, this is just a normal story," that has an agenda as
Yeah.
well.
Oh yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and it's
Everything has
just
an agenda. Everything.
exactly. It's just really knowing how to write very smoothly, and
Yeah.
knowing when something is subtle. I like subtlety. That's the thing.
Hmm.
Subtlety as opposed to beating you in the head of
Yeah.
what the theme is.
Yeah. Yeah.
think can go a long way.
Now that's definitely true. Simplicity is key. Like the complexity and simplicity that's the bread and butter right there. How can you tell a simple ass story and throw in the complexity in there? You know what I mean? It's like making mac and cheese. Simple as hell when you really think about it. But it's the little things you throw in there that make it be like, hold on, man, this mac and cheese different. It's the texture of it, you know what I mean? The way the cheese melted on it. So that's dope. And hearing about the psycho side of it, you know, it's a psychological aspect of writing. A lot of people don't think about that. I know me when I'm writing, I have fun thinking about how I'm gonna mess the reader up, like how I'm gonna get them to think like a certain way, and then I know later on I'm gonna twist that all the way around and make them be like, "Damn, I didn't see that coming." Like I get a thrill out of that. Is that the same with you? Like especially writing more horror-based stories, do you kind of get in that bag where you're excited to mess people's mind up when you're when you're kind of writing a story?
I feel like it's not my intention, but when I see people's reactions, I always get excited about it. I think for me, I enjoy the aspect of just writing something that I think is very cool and very visually and hopefully emotionally arresting and invest that way they can invest themselves into it. And but I think going back to when you're analyzing storytelling, certain things just come very ingrained on how to tell a story. You know, you have the typical three-act structure. You have
Yeah.
the beginning, middle, climax. You have something called a reversal, which is more something that gets pushed in screenwriting.
Hmm.
And but a lot of great stories have that reversal where that twist comes that just catches you off guard, and it comes
Yeah.
to a point where it becomes second nature as you're writing. You know, and you don't really. I don't know if I think about how is this going to affect the audience, but it's one of those things where it's like how can this improve the story, the theme that's going on, as well as challenge the protagonist, challenge the antagonist as well. How do we flip the switch when it comes to that? And people's reactions to it is tells you if it's working or not. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. What modern day I guess film or show has done that reversal well in your opinion?
uh, what have I watched recently? I'm trying to think of the reversal. Like I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm trying to think. Oh, they will kill you.
I haven't seen that one yet, man.
Oh, you have to see it. But I think without spoiling anything, a lot of the reversal for me with that movie came from the fact that I thought the movie was going to be one way because the trailer came
Yeah.
out and I literally was complaining about, yo, they just showed you the whole freaking movie. Why do I need to see this? Like this shit, like I
Right.
don't see it anymore. But when you actually watch it, you realize that was only the tip of the iceberg. There's so much crap that happens in the movie as well as what like about like the antagonists, the villains, like
Mm,
stuff that they did not hint. They did not hint, not even once in the trailer, where that felt like a reversal for me when I'm watching the movie. Like, holy
yeah.
crap, what is this? You know, I was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a great one, and it definitely had some reversals towards the end. Without, I'm not going to spoil it. You have to see it for yourself.
I ain't see it yet, but I will. I like that show Paradise.
I've yet to watch that.
Paradise is dope, man. Paradise it gives you like X File vibes, but like more on a governmental type of plane. You know what I'm
Nice.
saying? I think Sinners had a good reversal in there as well. Like how they did those parallels, how people turn that you didn't think were gonna turn. You know what I mean? So yeah, yeah, no, but that's fire, bro. So my next question for you, man. Out of all the mediums you could have chose, like we just learned that you were a huge rock star in Brooklyn growing up. Um, why comics, man? Out of all the mediums that you could have chose,
Rockstar. Oh man, I'm gonna write a story with like all the different things I want it to be. Um, but why comics? Honestly, as I said, when I first grade, I discovered writing. And I was actually an artist for a very short time. I went to in high school. I studied art. That was my major, and I took a college course in high school, which sort of makes or break people. And I was like, yeah, this is not for me. I got to the point where I realized I wasn't enjoying making art as much as my friends were, or I wasn't getting as good as they were. And it was one of
Yeah.
those things where, in hindsight, it wasn't me beating myself down or being hard on myself. It was me recognizing, like, nah, this is not it for me. And at that same time, I was getting more into like directing and writing, especially the writing. And that's how I just decided to just stick to that. And given that I still had an art background and I was always writing, it's literally just a blending of two of my favorite things. You know, it's a and then just reading it as another modern mythology, because essentially comic books, the pop culture of comic books is just modern mythology that we got. And I'm a huge mythology fan. Greek mythology,
Yeah.
African mythology, Black mythology in general. Like I love that type of stuff. And so to me, comics is just another way of that, of having that.
So what makes comics such a powerful medium to get messages out?
Because I think it's a very easily consumable medium. You know, you just open it up, you read the words, you look at the pretty pictures, and that's really all you need, honestly. And you just need some
Yeah.
crazy architects who knows how to, use their skills with their wordsmiths and
Yeah.
their art styles. Once you got that locked in, you can be as amazing as Alan Moore and hopefully inspire people. And Alan Moore is one of those people who can just make anything work.
Mhm.
He's so freaking intelligent where it's like you almost have to research whatever it is that you read. And I feel like that's more of a Grant Morrison thing, but there's so much sophistication that you can have in comics, and I think a lot of people, when it comes to their moral compass, comes from particular type of superheroes like Spider-Man, Superman. Unfortunately, I think a lot of people took some of the wrong messages from the villains and became the
For
villains as
sure.
opposed to the
For
heroes.
sure they did.
But there's still enough people who know how to read and have the heart to understand the heroes of the stories.
Oh yeah, no, that's for sure, man. Comics is definitely powerful. To me, I think that's what fascinated me so much coming from the music world, whereas music is hard, right? Because music, your voice gotta resonate with somebody, your tone, then your believability, especially in rap and hip hop. Like your believability is everything. If people don't believe you do what you say, then that could be the end of your career. You know what I'm saying? Whereas in comics, it's almost like if it looks dope, they're gonna give it a try. If it has a good cover, they're gonna give it a try. Now when they read it and you know what I mean, it's not hitting as they hoped it would, they might not come back, but people will give you a try if the presentation is on point, bro. And
Yeah.
and and that chance to me was enough for me to keep going. Like all I need is a chance to impress you one time. And if I can lock you in, I'm gonna lock you in. But I think like I don't know, it's amazing the feeling of writing something and giving that to a person that draws your thoughts, and then you give it to somebody else that puts your words onto the to the imaginary thoughts that are in now art form, and then you give that to somebody to read, and then they say, "I love this story."
Right.
That is it's a crazy drug right there, man. It's like a dopamine. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
It
Yep.
makes you just keep going. Like, what was that like when you first saw your book in your hand? That first one,
There's a video of it. I squealed a little bit.
really?
Yeah, I posted it on with my very first book. Well, my second book actually um, was Isnana, and just getting that in my hands was just like, yo, a dream come true. Honestly, I I felt it was like, even though I didn't cry, it was definitely an emotional moment. And I think it was more so I was getting mentally prepared for being able to have this in my hand and to be able to sell it finally.
Yeah.
And but like my very very first time I was published was actually a book that my cousin-in-law did. It was a anthology, and I remember like sending the script and then seeing it drawn. It was like the first time I've ever seen anything like that, and I was like, "What?" Like it's a undescribable feeling, and to the point where I never get tired of getting new pages for any book that I'm working on. I still get excited. Like even doing Hammer right now, when David sends me a new page, and I'm still like, it's I can't wait to see what he does. And
Fascinated, right?
yo, it's unexplainable, bro. Like this shit is fire.
It is, and I don't think many people realize that side of it too. Like a lot of people talk about the downside, the struggles, the getting to the point of making a comic book is tough. So when you get there, all that, like just seeing it, knowing what you had to go through, the rewrites, the writing, the editing, not know how something was going to look on the page, and then you see it and you're like, that's my baby right there. You know what I'm saying? That's my baby. Like I raised you from a thought, turns you into something tangible, bro. That right there is so. When you really think about it, it's a thought that we turned into a physical thing. It's completely it's just unimaginable. Like the younger self wouldn't have imagined that I would be doing this. You know what I mean? Would the
What
younger
went through your mind when you got your first book in your hand?
Oh man. I said, oh, I'm about to get to the chicken, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to get to it out here. Like I was just I was mind blown, bro, because I didn't know in 2017, I didn't know anything outside of like Marvel DC Image. So when I started researching and Facebooking and seeing all you guys out here killing it and y'all were black, nigga, that blew my mind. That was like the spark right there because I didn't think it was possible. Growing up where I grew up at and everybody just played ball and rap. That's all we did. And no one talked about their nerdism. But when I started coming out with Acolyte, all my friends out of nowhere was like, "Hey man, did I tell you I used to collect comics or did I did this and that?" It was like everybody was just hiding it, and they weren't talking about it. You know what I'm saying? And that was like an eye opening thing that so many of us grow up huge fans of this medium, but it's not something we normally just talk about. Like somebody got to tell you, like, yeah, man, I'm at a comic book shop, and you're like, for real? Hey, I'm gonna meet you over there, and then you go there. But it's like that. That to me was the dope experience of being black in comics. It's finding the other hidden splinter cells out here. That's just walking around with full blown collections. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 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 facts.
Did anything like that happen when you first came out?
Um, I think people already knew that I was going to be doing it. As I said, I came from an art background in high school, so
Right,
I
right.
was around people who were into some aspect of the arts, and there was always people who were already comic geeks of their own, guys and girls. And so it was never a thing of me being, I guess, like you hear stories of
Yeah,
I was one of those weirdos, and I had to
yeah,
hide my geekism, my nerdism, and no one fucked with me, and then now they want to fuck with me because comics is cool. And I'm like, I grew up honestly in that area. Like, yeah, it was the hood, but no one made fun of you for shit like that. And like
yeah.
I feel like there was always like my generation was always people that were into like Power Rangers. They were into Ninja
Oh
Turtles.
yeah,
They
yeah,
were into Batman, and they got into Spawn. They got into Blade. And so anything, and especially it's just action like kung fu and stuff. Like people was into that stuff
yeah,
growing up, and so it was never an aspect of like shame. I guess that some people dealt
yeah,
with for me. But I know it existed. I know that was people's realities, but for me, it
yeah.
wasn't. So I think when it came to me making comics, I think for a lot of people around me, it was more so of you finally did it, as opposed to like,
Uh,
what you doing? What is this? You know, uh,
yeah,
I get more shock from like people I'm just meeting or who've known me for like the past couple months, and they're like, "Oh wait, you make comics?" And it's like, "Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
on my page. Like you're on my page all the time." And, yeah,
No, I can attest to that. Like I never had no bad experiences as a nerd in my youth. It was just for me, just no one talked about it. No one admitted it until they saw someone else doing it. They're like, "Hey, I got Pokemon cards too, bro." You know what I'm saying? You trying to trade? Like you didn't no one really talked about it until like people just got comfortable. And I love this generation of their comfortability. And I kind of got a new understanding for how you operate and why you operate the way you do, is you were kind of incubated in a creative space, so you kind of move with a freedom of like, yo, this is who I am. I'm who I am. You know what I mean? And I've noticed that about you since the first day I met you. It's like, man, that boy just be moving. Like any space, it's just Greg. Greg is Greg, and everybody accepts that. And I thought that was always so dope. You know, because just watching it from the outside, not knowing what the industry is like, I was looking at cats like you, I was looking at TJ, I was looking at all you guys, like just how y'all were moving. I was like, damn, I wonder how they going to accept me. You know what I'm saying? Like me just being who I am, talking how I talk, because I ain't changing for nobody. I ain't changing nothing. But no, that's super dope, man. I love hearing your story about why comics, man. So that leads me to something that I know you deal with. Writer's block, bro. How do you handle it? How do
I'm
you fix it?
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't get writer's block.
Really?
My problem, similar to writer's block, is procrastination.
Mm.
I always know what I want to write. I have my ideas down. It's just finding the time to do it, and then when I do find the time, I'm so exhausted from work and everything else that I'm doing that I don't want to write. I don't want to use my brain, but I
Yeah.
have my ideas down. Once I sit down and then I'm there mentally, I can just write like no problem. I'm in the vibe. I'm in the zone. I'm hoping to God nobody stops me, nobody calls me, no one asks me for shit. Like leave me the fuck alone because I just want to write.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't really get writer's block to be honest, and I think it's because I'm always in my head.
Hmm.
I always have the ideas down, and if I don't have it in my head, I've written it down somewhere. And I've at some point I've scribbled down mad different ideas, mad different notes, the plot outline. So by the time when it's time to actually write, I'm just writing. I'm just breezing through it. It's really an aspect of just if I can get off my lazy ass right now and just actually do it. Yeah, so procrastination is more my issue as opposed to writer's block.
That's dope, man. I think what's crazy is that could be a lot of people's answer to that too, to writer's block. Because if you are procrastinating, your ideas might not be flowing as clearly as they need to. You might be kind of stuck in a place. How is your writing process? Right? Do you do everything in one sitting? Like you write the outline, you jot down the layouts and stuff like that, or is it like over a course of time, step by step?
Each book is different, but for the most part, I will jot down just notes, and the notes will be whatever it is that comes to mind. It could be coming up with a general concept, or coming up with a character that comes to mind, or a piece of dialogue, or a scene, and from there, I start to figure out what story I want to tell, what are the themes,
Hmm.
and I I think what makes my writing stands out for a lot of people, and if you notice, sometimes my stories can be a little disjointed. It's because I write out of order. You know, I don't like I have an outline. I definitely do a plot outline. I never, my opinion, never start your story without having a plot outline because you want a
Yeah.
skeleton of the beginning, middle, of end where you're gonna go with the story with the skeleton that you can always fall back on.
Hmm.
And so I always have an outline after the notes that I've written, and then instead of writing from the very beginning of the story to the end, which in my opinion, I feel like that is a reason for a lot of people's writer's block. I
Mhm.
write based off of whatever scene excites me. So after I have the outline, there might be a scene in the middle that I'm like, oh, I can't wait. Like, this is where I want to write right now. Is instead of dealing with the beginning of like, I need to get to this part,
Yeah, yeah,
it's let me write that part. And then from there, I might start writing the different scenes around it, or I might go back to the beginning and so on. So after a while, you start piecing it together as a puzzle, and
yeah,
then you have the beginning, the end, and then from there you can also figure out the pacing. If the pacing works, if it doesn't work, and this
yeah,
is where I sometimes, depending on the story, I get to jump between different scenes or between different times, like with flashbacks and stuff like that.
yeah,
And there's a lot of people that, sometimes they'll tell me this story was a little confusing to me, but until I actually read all of it, it all like fit together,
oh,
and have people
yeah,
tell me they every time they reread it, they discover something else new because of the way I wrote it. And a lot of it is because I tend to just write based off of how I'm feeling, what scene excites me, and from there, you know, find a way
yeah.
to blend them together and mix match. And it's been working for me, honestly.
Now that's dope, man. See, I kind of my dialogue is the last thing I write. I don't write my dialogue until after the pages are done. So
Really?
yeah, so I kind
What?
of yeah. So like I do an outline, and then through the outline I may have notes. Like there's certain bars I know I gotta say at certain moments, but I give the outline. I give it to Montrez, the editor in chief. She says, "Okay, it's good to go." Then I give it to the artist, and I kind of give him a little creative freedom to piece together what he sees in my outline. Then once I see the outline, I start seeing the pages. That's when the voices start coming to me as I'm looking at them. I'm like, yo, I originally thought they were gonna be talking this tone, but the way he drew it, it makes me feel different. So for me, it's like how I write my music. I can't just write the lyrics. I gotta hear the beat. I gotta hear everything. And once I hear it, then I just start rapping. I just let it out. You know what I mean?
That's
So,
fascinating, because like I feel like a lot of that is very similar to the old school Marvel style of
mm,
writing. Because essentially you would have Stan Lee who had at least a general plot outline. He would be like, this needs to happen, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. He gives it to the artist. They will then lay it out however they feel, and then from there he would put the dialogue in.
mm.
I think it's a very interesting thing. For me, that would freak me out
Oh yeah,
because I come from school of film,
yeah,
and a lot of film is very dialogue heavy, and so a lot of the ways that I figure out my story is through my characters interacting and speaking. So and that's how I start to know who the characters are,
hmm,
and from discovering who the character is, what their motivation and how they interact with people, that's what ends up fleshing out the world and themselves as well, and then from there the scene becomes what it is. Um,
yeah.
your way of writing is really fascinating, bro. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. I've created characters because the artist just drew somebody. I was like, damn, I was like, who's this dude? So I implement something, or like the way he drew maybe a fight scene between two characters that was supposed to be in there. You know, it looks like they may know each other. So then that sparked the whole idea for me to give them a backstory. So it's kind of like for me, writing like that is so exciting because I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like I know the outline, I know what's happening, but I don't know the outcome. So I'm writing it like a reader.
mhm.
I'm like, damn, man, that boy would probably say that, wouldn't he? I'm saying this and that. And I think it comes out good, man. Now, not every artist I work with can do that. Some artists I do got to lay it out more, you know what I mean, and give them more details. But for people that are aware of your story or know your character that you work with, like artists that know you, you can kind of let them rock out a little bit more, you know. And I
Yes,
love that comfort space. I love that space right there.
I get that with David Brain, my artist for Hammer, John Henry versus the Robot Apocalypse. Like
Mhm.
I've worked with him a couple times in different projects, but this is our first like big one that we have together. And he'll be doing stuff where I'm like, bro, we gotta do something with this. For uh,
Mhm.
example, did you get to read Hammer? yet by any
I ain't
chance?
read Henry yet. But I need a signed copy too, man. I need it like signed in gold. You know what I mean?
So there's in the book there's these robot children who are like the children of the villain, of the antagonist, and he designed them in such a way like they each have their own sort of personality. He like incorporated some like cultural stuff, which was really cool. But then one of them um, floats, like he's just this floating baby head, and I'm like, oh, what the fuck?
Mhm.
And I was just like, I was like, no, we're keeping it. But something happens in Act Two to the children that doesn't make sense with this floating head to get caught in, right? So because of that, I was like, you do realize you saved this motherfucker's life.
Right, right.
Because this motherfucker could fly. And so now we're like, okay, that opened up a
There
whole
you
aspect.
go.
Like, bro, we can now like we can connect these two characters and do all this stuff and like have them have this floating head baby now be a huge
Right.
part of Act Three. And so there's like, and
That's
also
fire.
he's designed particular like characters where I'm just like, yo, we got to do like a spinoff with this character, and he's already working on something where I'm just like, yo, it's your story, have fun, like just as long as it's like a little Star Wars. You have this
Yeah,
side
yeah.
character who doesn't mean anything, but because he looks cool, it's like, yo, let's give this motherfucker a backstory.
And
you know?
that's and that right there is the beauty of being open, right?
Yeah.
Some people, some writers are so strict. It has to be pop, 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 pop. Like there's no, you know what I mean? That floating head would have got cut out. They just said, no, 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 take that out. Get that out of here, right? But being open to it is what turns into those gems and them stories that you didn't even know were there, but the fans and readers are gonna pick it up like, yo, that little floating head dude is yeah, they're surviving, man. You know what I'm saying? He out there doing a little something. Like there's a scene in Acolyte where his mentor is fighting this other ninja dude from the bad guy squad, and Kalan is like he's a fan favorite. He's dope, but I never really gave him no scenes. So he's fighting this guy, and the in the midst of him fighting him, he like, yo, man, I know this style, and whoever taught you this style, I taught them, and that right there opened up a whole another chapter to where Kalon and this villain now have their own like little arc and back and forth now, where people are asking, when are we gonna get that? When are we gonna find out who his master is and why he knows them? But that just came because the way he drew them fighting, it was some dialogue going on, and I was like, nah, he talking heavy to him right now. I'm saying I could see it, and that's kind of where that came out from, man. And it was very fun to write like that, you
That's,
know.
that's good.
Has there ever been when you do take other jobs and write for other people, do you have to kind of are you able to be the Greg you normally are, or do you have to give them more of that, more of like a structured, like here's the script, this is page 1 through 5, dialogue and all that stuff laid out already?
I'm glad you asked that question, actually. So my, it depends on the editor. It depends on the editor or the publisher. For the most part, um, I write the same, and I get hired because they like the way I write.
Hmm.
But I write the same in terms of coming up with the script, and then eventually, I mean, after I break down the outline of what I want to do, they can sign off on it. And when it comes to coming up with the script, it's really up to me. Like I'll write it however I need to in order to get there, but it still has to stay confined to essentially what we agreed on. And there's some editors that trust me entirely,
Right.
and there are some who they like to put their foot down and say this isn't working, or it becomes a fight of like, trust me, it's working.
Yeah.
I have one particular editor that I work with who I feel like the product we came out with was great, honestly, and I think some of it came out great because we were butting heads. But there were still some things that I'm very adamant about where I'm just like, dude, you gotta let me work. Like, you hired me for a particular reason. You gotta trust me on this. And there was some stuff where I can admit, I can fall back and be like, nah, I can see where you're coming from. Let's do that. Let's apply it. I don't think I'm difficult to work with, but when it comes to stuff where I'm just like, I approve everything that you're telling me that you want to change, but this, I feel like you need to trust me on this, and there's been times when I have certain people read some of works that I've done for other people, and they're like, "Oh, it's great, but it's not as good as your stuff," or like. Then and then sometimes when they pinpoint what they didn't like, and I'm like, that was the thing I was fighting against, and I'm like, I was telling them, but it's honestly, I actually really love working for other people. I love writing for other folks, because it sort of it challenges me. It challenges me to a point where I'm like, I know I'm not a one trick pony. It's not just my stuff I can write. I can do other people's stuff and create a world and a whole bunch of different characters, make them pop as much as I can. Like it's a lot of fun, and I actually don't mind having like certain constraints, because then it's like, all right, I have these amount of pages. How could I challenge myself and tell a story? Versus when I can write however fucking long I want.
Yeah. No, that's dope, man. Like I'm gonna be honest, I haven't really done too many projects that I wasn't like in charge of. You know what I'm saying? I haven't really had too many people in the kitchen with me when I'm cooking either. So I don't know. I'm nervous about that. Like I've done it, but most of the time, like I guess the way I do it, I would probably prepare like three outlines and give them a choice. Like, all right, this is the road, right? You can go this way, or that way. If you go that way, I'm writing it this way. You go this way, and that way, that way. And usually the ideas are something that they're already interested in, so it usually works out. But how do you manage when they be like, no, or like, I don't want that, I don't like this, I don't like that, and like that feeling of this, it needs this, and they're just like, no. Like, how do you continue with a smile on your face after that, man? You know what I'm
The easiest way is, if I'm getting paid for this. I'm gonna be real with you. Like I so in the very beginning of working for other people, I was, oh man, I used to fight. Like in terms of like, I'm telling you, this is gonna work, it isn't gonna work. But I think it gets to the point where you need to remember that you're a hired gun, and as much as they claim to love everything that you do, and sometimes they don't.
saying? Yeah.
Like don't, in terms of like, they have a particular vision of the skills that they want for you to create for them, but then
Mhm.
it's like, this is not what I had in mind. And so there's an aspect of having to respect their vision and knowing when to step back, because in the end of the day, when it comes to your work, you can do whatever you want. You could always fall back on your own work.
Yeah.
But after a while, it's like you have to be proud of what you can give them. But in the end of the day, it's really what they want. It's their baby, you
What they
know.
want.
And,
Yeah.
there was something that I had to come to terms with over time. And of course, there's still going to be little moments where I'm like, trust me, like I'm asking you for this, just this one thing. I've
Mhm.
approved and said yes to everything, regardless of me not agreeing with certain things. But this you should keep. And honestly, one of the editors that has made the process easy for me is my editor for Scholastic. Like, I have another book working with that same editor, and it's at a point where he really trusts me. But he'll step in when he thinks like, you should do this instead, and I'm like, all right, let's do it. But
Yeah.
um, sometimes when I feel very strongly about something, he'll actually listen to me, and he'll be like, you know what, fuck it, let's try it. And then with Dreamer as an example, there was times where he didn't think certain things were going to work, and when it got printed, he was just like, "You were right about this scene." I'm like, "I told you." Just
I done
trust
told your ass. I
me. Yeah.
told your ass already. No, that's definitely fire, bro. And it's something great for the any creators that are watching this or gonna be watching this on the playback that's on YouTube. Make sure that y'all subscribe. But anybody that's gonna be watching this, hearing that, want to know what it's like working in the industry, man. Not everybody gets that call back. getting them callbacks is meaningful. That means you put out good product, man. Some people get a job and you ain't never hear them get another one after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it happens. It happens. But just being able to being flexible, being easy to work with is I think being easy to work with in this industry gets you longer than being talented. Some people will accept, you know, they'll accept your talent. Now I ain't saying, something straight trash. I'm talking like you good, there's better than you, but I love working with you.
Mhm.
We can make something happen. You know what I mean? Now, if you great and then you got that quality of being easy to work with, you're gonna be a rich person in this industry. You're gonna be rich because there's so much toxicity that goes into making a comic. There's people that may ghost you. Like there's artists you might pay that disappear. There's so much that goes on that people don't know in the process of making this comic. And if you can be a great person to work with, people are going to always call you to draw their book or letter their book or be an editor or write the comic. They're going to call your name, man. And when they call you, y'all make sure that y'all ready for that. So we talked about a lot about your upbringing, man. Let's talk about Isnana and where Inspired, bro. Where did this idea come from? Why did this idea happen? And when did you know this was the one? Like, how did you know out of all the creations you had in your head, this was the one that you needed to kick off with?
So Isnana was my backup.
That's crazy.
That was my. If this one project is not working, I'll fall back on this. So I was working on a character who shows up in volume two of Isnana. His name is Jeremy Tableau. He's like a trickster. He works with Papa Legba, who's the lower of the crossroads in the voodoo faith. And I wrote mad short stories with this motherfucker, like developing him. And I was like, yo, when it comes down to making a comic, it's going to be this cat. And I was working on the story with a homie of mine from high school. And the book, the first issue we completed, but unfortunately it soured our relationship. And this is like a childhood friend, and we were doing this like at this point I was in college, and it was unfortunate that it sort of ruined our friendship at the time. We've squashed it like last year, like literally this past year.
Right.
So that was over like 10 years ago that this happened. But
That's real.
when after that, I was just like, all right, I started developing Isnana, and Isnana was going to be like one of those things of just like, I'll give this to you if you want to use it or not. If you want to turn that into something, it won't be as serious as this Jeremy idea, but it's sort of like a throwaway concept. And he wasn't talking to me, so I was like, "Fuck it, I'll find somebody else." But what started the conception of the character was when I would ask certain people at the time, like especially black folks, my friends, if they knew Anansi the Spider, because I wanted to tell like a particular Anansi story, something that reminded me of Anansi, and I was like, I was getting people like, "Who's that? What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Wait, you don't know who Anansi is?" And I would have a lot of friends. Now people know because you've had American Gods, you've had Static, you've had all these different mediums now who have been using Anansi the Spider. At the time, only time you knew about him is if like you've watched the Reading Rainbow and you remember this particular story. If you've watched Static and he showed up, or if you had a background, like if you were Jamaican, if you were Trinidadian, or like Nigerian from Ghana, like
Yeah.
you knew who Anansi was. Outside of that, you ain't know. No one knew who he was in my circle. But then I was like, but I bet you could name like 5 to 10 Greek gods. It's like, of course, I know Zeus, this person, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you don't think that's weird that like our most well-known black god, you guys don't know him, but you know all these European characters. And mind you, I love those characters, but it was just like there has to be like
Yeah.
some balance there. So when I got to college, this got reinforced again because we had to take requirement was classical cultures, that was Greek mythology, and we were literally required to take that class. And mind you, I've taught myself Greek mythology since I was a kid because I was obsessed with Hercules and Xena, and then
Yeah.
that opened,
Right.
and then Clash of the Titans that opened up everything for me. But I aced that class. That was an easy A for me. But
Mhm.
when I wanted to take Black mythology, that was an elective. That was like if you wanna, you know, spice up your credits a little bit,
Yeah.
to graduate, but you don't need to take this class, but you need to take classical cultures, which is Greek mythology. So I was just like, I took the Black mythology class. I learned a lot. I loved it, and that was when I was like, yo, I want to change this narrative a little bit. Like I want to make it so that people know who a lot of these black gods and black heroes and black folklore characters, whether it's folklore, mythology, or even like our traditional spiritual figures. I was just like, yo, I need to make something of it that I enjoy because I love Greek mythology adaptations. And I'm like, why
Mhm.
can't we have something like that for us? And you know, at the time I wasn't aware of many of them, but since coming
Yeah.
into this business, you find other creators with the same mindset, and it's just like, yo, yes, we out here.
Yeah.
I'm excited seeing other people's versions of Anansi the Spider and other black legends and stuff. So like Anansi, I thought, what is the best way to tell these stories? And if I feel like Anansi's stories were dying because I was asking black people who he was and they didn't know who he was, it was like his legacy is dying. So how do I keep that alive? By giving him a son and the son to continue his legacy. And so that's why each book in the series, each story, you're meeting a different like black god or black hero or villain from different mythological spiritual stories.
No, that's fire, bro. I love that you spelled his name backwards. You know what I mean? Like to me, if you were a rapper, I would. If you weren't a rapper, I would have thought you were a rapper because of that. I was like, see that boy right there spitting bars right now, man. He out here switching names, double entendres, and all that. You know, funny story I learned about is Nana. I mean, I learned about Anansi. Um, so my wife is Bayesian, so her mom's from Barbados, right? So for my daughter, they used to put this YouTube on. It was like a kids show, but it was called Anansi, and it was like a little Anansi, and he would help out this little black girl. They go on adventures and stuff. That's how I learned about Anansi. I was like, damn, who is this, man? I didn't know, but I didn't know like the true history of it. I just thought, maybe this is something that somebody just whipped up, created for black children, and it was dope. So then and then soon after that, I saw your character. I was like, oh snap! And then I saw him in a static episode that I didn't remember I saw him, and then he showed up in DC because he's in DC too, right?
Yeah, he's in Marvel and DC actually.
He's in Marvel. Oh
And
yeah.
DC, yeah, they started doing stuff with him.
I saw him in it was a old. Well, he was in Young Justice too. Didn't he show up in Young Justice? But I think he was in one of the Justice League cartoons that I saw recently. I was like, damn, that's fire. But your idea was super fresh, man. I've always loved what you were doing because it's educational at this point. It's not just a story that's just to here to entertain you. It's educational entertainment, and that's sometimes the best form of of what we do in this medium. And I think a lot of the characters that you tackle hint towards that as well. You do a lot of historical teachings in your in the titles that you write. Speaking of that, let's talk about Hammer, man. How did this one come about? Hammer looks fire too. Might I add? Like I love that concept. I'm a big Terminator guy, bro. I'm a huge Terminator dude, man. So what I mean. I was all in. I was all in.
I appreciate that, man. No, Hammer. It's funny. I wrote Hammer 9 years ago. Um, I wrote it right after Volume One of Isnana, and at the time, Tim Fielder, who does Maddie's Rocket and I think it's Imperium, is his other book. Um,
Hmm.
Me and him, we were chopping it up because at the time we worked for the same art program, and I was like I was starting to meet different black creators, and I'm like, oh, you're in the industry too. You're like in the field. And I was telling him about Hammer, and he was like, write it. I'll draw it. Write it. I'll draw it. And it came to a point where when I had the script done, he was busy with Imperium with his own stuff, and that was blowing up.
Mhm.
And so it was one of those things where I'm like, all right, I'm gonna shelve this idea. But then I used the concept of Hammer, being that John Henry in the Robot Apocalypse. I use that same concept now for an Isnana story, where that's where the third Isnana book happened, where he meets John Henry in the Robot Apocalypse, and
Right.
that happens because I was like, this concept is too good to not use.
Pass up on. Mm-hmm.
And when it came to coming up with the story, I think it was just the concept itself. I'm just like John Henry in the Robot Apocalypse, like it's literally the story.
A no-brainer right there, man.
Yeah, and I'm like, no one's done this. It just makes sense. And finally, I've worked with David Brain for mad different little projects, like some anthologies and some shorts. There's some books that we've worked on that haven't been released yet either. And finally, I was like, yo, I have this story that's been collecting dust, and it's like almost like 200 pages of story. I was like, would you want to do this? He listened to the concept, and he was like, hell yeah. And
That's dope.
that was it. He started drawing it. We put it on my Patreon. We decided we're going to release it, and people fucks with it, man. Like we've won 3 Glyphs awards for it so far. People have just been going to the store or hitting me up to purchase it. We've been selling out like almost every show that I go to, and I have it, like just based off of the concept alone. People are just like excited about it.
Bro, that's an amazing, just an amazing concept. Those are the type of fresh ideas that pop off. Your risk, the risk you're taking with like your stories is what makes you stand out as a creator. And I think a lot of people gotta realize that. Something that you also said is something that I like to tell some of the creators on Concrete is that you ain't got to rush to put anything out. Like you can write as much as you want. And the fact that you were sitting on that story for 9 years, just you know what I mean? There's no problem. There's no rush to hurry up and put something out. Sometimes timing is everything. And right now, with the way the world is, with AI and all this other robotic stuff, the timing you dropped it, it's perfect. People might not have consciously been able to partake in the Hammer if you dropped it 9 years ago. You know what I mean? It'd have been dope, but it wouldn't hit the same as it does now with all this AI and computer and robotic stuff being created. It's like a perfect mesh. And sometimes that's God's design to just make us wait on something and be like, no, don't put that out yet. No. I'm gonna make some challenges for you so you don't put that out yet. And when you put it out, it was perfect time, bro. It's right when it was needed. You know what I mean? And it's amazing that you did that, for real. So so would you say like is this called the Isnana universe? Like is this his universe that all these entities exist in, or are you just creating freely and just letting things cross over just naturally?
Yeah, I'm just doing shit. I mean, we could say it's the Webway universe,
Mm,
and especially with the fact that I established the Webway in Isnana, where it's just like a connection of various different realms, worlds, and timelines and stuff. So, you have the opening to have it all be connected in some way, and even though Hammer wasn't initially going to be a type of spin-off from Isnana, because I ended up releasing that Isnana and John Henry crossover. Now it's like, all right, it would be cool if now that's sort of like a bit of a prequel
yeah.
to Hammer. Like it just makes sense to connect it in some way. So that's why I say sort of like a semi prequel or spin-off of not prequel, it's a bit of spin-off of that book. But essentially, I'm writing. I'm doing what I can get out there, and there's a very easy, simple way of crossing them over if I have to by having that webway that Isnana and Anansi is a part of.
You've heard it live here, gentlemen. The Webway universe is now established. I like that, bro. For real, the Webway universe is fire because it's so seamless and easily transmuted amongst your characters, bro. And I think that's the genius in the way that you are writing, man. So, congratulations on that. If y'all aren't aware, his website is in the bio, so y'all can go to webwaycomics.com. Go check out them books, man. Go
Actually,
pull up.
make folks reach out to me directly because that site has been acting up lately.
Oh yeah, it's been acting crazy. Say
Yeah,
less.
yeah, it's been really weird. So that,
Follow his pages. Follow everything that he got, y'all. Hit him up and get them books, man, because they are fire. Which con are you going to next?
there's the Brooklyn Independent Showcase, um, Brooklyn Independent Comic Showcase in Brooklyn this coming weekend. Actually, I think Thursday I'm supposed to be in Jersey for some type of market show. I don't really know all the details. Um,
Tell me where it in Jersey. I'll pull it
Jersey
up.
City. It's in
Jersey
Jersey.
City. Okay. I
But,
did hit up. I did hit up that Comic Con that you said that you're doing this weekend. See if they got any extra rooms. I'm gonna slide through, man. And if I
so
do, I need that hammer, man.
it's a
Pause.
good show.
I need.
Don't get me started, bro. I'll give you all the hammer you want.
First of all, calm down, calm down. Okay, what is going on now? All right,
Um,
sheesh. I had to catch myself, and I almost wilded out real quick, man.
no, but I'm
But
doing that show the weekend after that. It's the Alliance New York Fest, which is like this French, um, like this done is like a French art location in New York City, which was I did it last year where I did a panel for
mhm,
them, and that sort of gave me an opening to like, hey, can I get a table next year? And they were like, of course.
that's
Um,
fire, bro.
the free comic book day, anyone comics in New York as well, Phillipsburg Comic Con, Ekbach. I'm doing again, of course. Oh shoot, that reminds me, I need to fill out that freaking form that they keep emailing me.
Bro, I
Uh,
gotta fill that joint out too. Is it the same weekend as Philly Fan Expo this
Nah.
year? Is it?
So Philly Fan Expo is at the end of the month, which I'm trying to get. Well, I'm signed on to do another show that Sunday, but I was reached out by somebody connected, and it was like, maybe we can get you in. I'm just like, screw it, cool.
Less.
So we'll see what happens.
Well, I might pull up on you in New York this weekend because I wanna go and meet those event planners and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So I'll definitely swing by, man. But I got about two more questions for you, man. One is pretty important, bro. I want to hear this. So, what legacy do you want to leave, man? When it's all said and done, what do you want people to know about you and speak about you 150 years from now when we're fighting robots?
I think that hopefully that I've inspired people to be more proud of their heritage, proud of their blackness, and to the point where they can create and continue to inspire. Um, I would also hope that I inspire people to be less judgmental, more kind to folks, and especially when it comes to people who are different. Like sexuality is always a huge thing for me in terms of like why are we
Yeah,
fighting over what turns somebody on? Like the hell doesn't make any sense. So anything to do with just pride and enjoying people's pride, to have pride in themselves and who they are, and being kind. That's the legacy I want to keep, and hopefully, is Nana lasts long enough to be on some like Ninja Turtles Hellboy type shit.
man, bro. It's already there already. So I don't even know why you even said hopefully. I mean, it's already right there.
We'll
But
see.
I think the way that you've been doing everything has been leading into that type of a legacy. People already speak highly of you right now. Right now, you already get your flowers right now while you're alive. So imagine what they're gonna do years later. You know what I mean? And
Which
that's dope, man. So you made it to my last segment of the show, which is my favorite segment. It's a speed run.
oh yes.
It's called Top Three. Are you ready for Top Three, man?
I ain't got no choice but go on.
There we go, man. So we gonna jump right into this top three, bro. First one should be an easy one for you, man. I want to see what you do, though. Hopefully, it's some off the wall names that I'm not expecting. But let's jump into it, man. Top three black action stars from
Oh
any
God.
from any genre. It can be whatever age you want.
All right. Wesley is definitely a part of it. Wesley Snipes is Blade. That's all you really.
Blade.
Blade, Wesley Snipes. Fuck.
Simon Phoenix is one of my favorite Blades. I mean, Snipes characters. You know what I'm saying? I love Simon Phoenix, man.
Jim Kelly is Jim Kelly is
There you
that
go.
dude. You know? I love me some Jim Kelly. I'm honestly I'm gonna yeah. I mean Bruce Lee was the man. I will admit,
Bruce
but
Leroy is Timothy.
I'm gonna say for my third, I'm gonna say Zazie Beetz right now because of They Will Kill You,
Mm,
and I feel like if she continues to like capitalize on this, because I feel like her as Domino was the introduction to her as an action star. This takes it
yeah,
even beyond to a point where I'm like, I'm hoping she continues on this path because she has done enough. Like, she's very versatile in the types of roles that she picks. Where
mhm.
I can't see her being pigeonholed as an action star, but she can be an action star when you see her in this movie.
No, that's fire. Um, I haven't seen the movie yet, but yeah, she does great, man, in her roles in Atlanta and just Domino, all the roles she's done, she be killing it. So maybe this was that one breakout where she starts going through the roof now. You know what I mean? So we'll see. All right, man. I got the next one for you, bro. 90s cartoons, man. Come on, come on. I need some bangers here, though.
Number one is Batman.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
without fucking question, Batman animated series. Shit. What else? What else do I like in that time period? Um, fuck. When did Courage the Cowardly Dog come out?
Courage the Cowardly Dog. That was in the late 90s.
That was late '90s.
Mm-hmm.
So throw Courage in that bitch. So Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Courage was fire. Courage was definitely fire.
Um, fuck. Uh, I want to say, X-Men, but honestly, Evolution, in my opinion, sort of blew it away a little bit.
It did, but
But that wasn't '90s.
it wouldn't be. It wouldn't have even got the chance it would have got without the classic, though,
Of
man.
course,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
I need. I mean, honestly, huh? Wait, I'm trying. Wait, I'm trying to remember all the cartoons that
It's some bangers out there, man.
Yeah, I was
I'll
thinking.
throw one of mine's out there. Doug is one of mine's. Doug is Doug is high on the list. I
Pokemon.
liked Pokemon. Pokemon was late '90s. That was a hit. That one was a hit for sure.
That's my third.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at that three, man, for sure. All right, so this last question might be the hardest one of them all, man. Hardest one of them all, because this universe don't get a lot of love. I never hear people talk about their top moments of this universe, man. So DCEU moments. What were your favorite
Uh,
Snyder Universe moments, man? Let's do it.
why you know I hate Snyder, the Snyderverse, man.
Listen.
Okay,
It
DC.
had some moments though. Don't do that.
Okay, um, DC.
It was
Oh, gargoyles! God damn it!
how you missed
Somebody brought up
how you
gargoyles.
missed the goat, man.
Um, Okay, DCEU Snyderverse top 3 moments. One of them, the first one that comes to mind, in no order. One of them that comes to mind was when Wonder Woman finally shows up and starts helping them in Batman vs Superman, one of the worst movies ever made. But once she showed
Oh,
up, I was like, finally, something good. And that music that was playing, and she gets knocked back, and she's getting up like, oh shit! And I'm like,
yeah,
yo. So that's one of those moments for me.
that one was dope.
What other movie? Oh, honestly, I really enjoy. I really enjoy Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. So I'm gonna count her as a moment.
Harley Quinn movie was pretty dope though.
That movie,
I did like the movie. I like the movie.
that was a really great movie. Um, I
She
need
had
to
some
throw,
good moments in the Suicide Squad flick. You know what I'm saying?
What other movies came out for that?
Damn, bro, I'm surprised, man. I thought she was about to be hitting me with some bangers, man.
I
Out the
do
cut.
not like the Snyderverse, bro. But like, there's a couple of things that I enjoy in it that it's just not it for me. Nah, unfortunately, Nolan's Batman trilogy doesn't count, right? Because it's not
No,
a.
they don't count. They don't count, man. I'm talking DCEU. I'll say one of my favorites was the Do You Bleed. Do you
Yeah.
bleed? I
Yeah.
like Do You Bleed, man.
I'm trying to think. We had the Flash that came out for that movie. Shazam came out for that movie. Aquaman came out for that verse. The first two Aquamans.
Yo, it's it's sad that you got to go this deep into the bag, man.
Bro, I don't.
For the DCEU.
Blue Beetle was actually pretty alright. Um,
My man is in his duffel right now, trying to find a moment.
it's fuck, bro. I really do not like a lot
There
of
was
those.
some moments, bro, when when Batman pulled out the whip in Batman vs Superman, he was getting it in. That was a dope joint. When Wonder Woman blocked all the bullets in her movie in that museum, there's some moments.
You know
It's
what?
a couple in there.
I will say, even though I do not like Snyder, I liked in his Justice League with the director's cut. I liked everything that had to do with Cyborg.
Cyborg was fire. You know what I think was dope? That scene, that future scene where Superman pulled up and ripped Batman's mask off, and I like that. I like that scene. I liked yeah, Snyder's version was kind of fire. One of my favorite scenes, which you may not like, it was when remember when Superman just woke up and he was wilding and he was able to see Flash running and Flash looked at him like, hold on, the
That
hell?
was actually a fun scene. I'll
That
give it.
was a dope scene.
That
I
was a
like that one.
that was cool. I'll admit that. I
Dang,
also
man.
I also liked
Damn, DCEU. I thought I was gonna help y'all out a little bit today. Dang.
fam, we don't like it, but there was
It's
there was
over
one
with,
scene
huh?
I liked from one moment that I enjoyed from the theatrical Justice League version, which isn't in the Snyder version, which I don't understand why. When Cyborg catches Aquaman and he's like riding over him,
Ah,
and he's like, "My guy," he throws
my man, right? My
my man.
man.
And I'm like,
Throw
why
him in
did you
the
take
air.
that out of the Snyder version? I think he just catches him and he throws him back in the
Yeah,
Snyder
yeah,
version. And then like there were, even though I think the Snyder version was a better film as a whole than the theatrical, there were certain character moments, and I think it's just because it's Joss Whedon. Joss Whedon, as terrible as a human being as he is, when it comes to like character moments and character work and interaction, he is like the best. He's one of the
yeah.
best. I'm not gonna say the best. He's one of the best, and he gave Justice League a couple of like little character moments and dynamics that was missing from Snyder's version. Um,
Yeah,
Even though Snyder as a whole, his movie was much better than Joss Whedon's version, but there was little character moments that
yeah.
Joss had.
Would you, are you not a fan of the Superman movie?
The last one that came out,
Nah, the one, yeah, the one that came out right before Batman vs Superman.
Ah, no, I did not like it,
You
bro.
ain't like that,
I
man?
didn't.
I love that
I,
one, man. I
I,
liked it better than the new one.
what? Nah.
I liked it better than the new one. I felt I don't know.
Ah.
I felt like the Snyder one. It felt like a more realistic Superman to me.
Wait, wait.
Like
Do you like Superman in general?
yeah, I like Superman.
As a concept, as like the actual comic book Superman.
Yeah, I like Superman. I just wasn't feeling. The new version felt too much like a Guardians of the Galaxy movie to me. It didn't feel like I don't know. I
You know what?
just
Like, so for me, watching the new Superman movie felt like I was watching Superman for the first time because there's like reading so many Superman books and like being aware of a lot of the Superman stories. It was one of those
mhm,
things where like, holy shit, I'm watching these strange zany ass concepts that don't make any sense. And a lot of Superman stories, like the ideas are just weird and wonky as hell.
yeah,
And seeing it in like on the screen was like, whoa, what the fuck am I watching? Like when he's
yeah,
up in the air and he's like fighting the robots and he's like shooting them with his eye, like I'm like, you know, the way he's moved, like there was just so much visual stuff, you know, and also the fact that he's a good person, he's a good-hearted person who's
yeah,
just trying to inspire people and to be good and to do good, and that I felt like, not to say Henry Cavill's was a bad person, but he didn't really have that sort of like joyous sort of hope that inspires you type thing, you know. And
okay,
I
Phil.
feel like Superman
Yeah,
as a concept, he's this sort of lively, sunny Boy Scout that inspires you to want to be good
yeah.
despite all the fucking fucked up shit in the world, you know.
See, I guess that's the element of Superman I never liked was the naive Boy Scout version. I liked I liked the sad Superman from Snyder to me because I felt like that's how it really feel. Like you a giant walking around ants, but you got to be an ant. You
So
know what I
here's the
mean?
thing: I don't really see Superman as naive. I just see him as optimistic. You know, I
Optimistic,
think that's
yeah,
two different things. Because I think the optimism also comes down to how he was raised. You know, you have Jonathan and Martha Kent who sort of instilled this whole aspect of like, you know, being good and using your powers for good, which was what was so different with the Snyder version because he had his powers, and while they want him to be a good person, it's like, oh, we'd rather you hide your power than let these people die. you
hell yeah,
know?
yeah.
And like not use your gifts to actually save people. And that's when it was just like, I don't think Snyder either doesn't get Superman or he doesn't like the concept of Superman. So he's just trying to like turn him into Batman.
Cool him out. I appreciated the differences. Like I gotta watch the new Superman again. I saw it one time. I'm a big Superman fan. I just gotta watch it again. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I have a different appreciation for it when I watch it in the crib in my setting, and I can really dissect the film. But just seeing it in theaters, you watching for all kinds of nonsense. But I'll check it out again. I don't know if I'm gonna change, but I'm excited for Supergirl. Might be dope. You know what I mean? That might be kind of fire. I'm waiting to see whatever they do with the Batman of this universe. I don't know if it's going to be the Robert Pattinson Batman. Is that going to be like the Batman, or are they going to do something
I
else?
think they've said it's not going to be, and I'm sort of hoping it's not because I love Batman. I love that movie. I love Robert Pattinson as Batman. Anything that director does, Matt Reeves does, I always enjoy. But I like him having his own universe to do whatever he wants, as opposed to now trying to, you know, uh, be forced to make it part of this universe.
I feel like that's the only thing to me that be setting DC back is that they will have like three versions of Batman out at the same time, and it's like which one you want us to love? You know what I mean? You want us to love this one? You want us to love the one
All
that's the Joker? You want us to love the one in the Titan show? There's so many versions of them. It's like, damn, like, what do y'all want us to do? You know what I mean?
I mean, I feel like if we can tolerate and understand different universes in the comics, we can do the same thing for movies.
That is true, and I think a lot of us are spoiled by the MCU. You know what I mean? Because they kept us streamlined with set characters for years and actors and roles for years. So we grew accustomed to like, we want one Batman, we want one Superman, one Green Lantern. Like, don't give us this one in the TV show CW and then this one. Like, cross them all over, make them the same everywhere. take the TV one and put them in the movie, man. Stop playing with us, because that's kind of isn't that what they're doing with like Disney Plus, right? Like all them shows are connected to the movies and things that
Yeah.
are happening in the shows are connected. To me, that's just fire. Because I like connectivity. I love it. You know what I mean? But I do understand some characters, like a Blade, can be his own thing, and that would be fine. It wouldn't affect the MCU. They could just do a Blade story and let him rock. And I think that's how they do Batman for the most part. They're just like, no, he can. He don't need to be with everybody else. He can do his own thing, and everybody will go buy it. So, but yeah, nah, bro, that was dope. I like your top three. I was surprised by your '90s cartoons, man. I didn't think that one was gonna throw you off like that, man.
It's because there's so many that I
It's a lot.
watched growing up, man, and I still rewatch. Like I'm literally going through a Superman animated series binge right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I just finished the World Finest episodes where he meets Batman.
Now it was some bangers. I was surprised that you didn't say Static
Oh yeah, I'm
or even
surprised.
like Dragon Ball. You didn't say or
So
like Bobby's World. One of them joints, man. There's
Bobby's
a
World
lot.
came to mind.
Bobby's World was a banger.
Bobby's World came to mind. But it's just honestly,
You got Ed, Ed and Eddie,
I
Dexter's
didn't like Ed
Lab.
and Eddie. I didn't like Ed and Eddie.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
love
like.
I love Ed and Eddie and Dexter's Lab. All them were bangers to me, man. Even those shows, you remember Daria and like Max was on. You know what I mean? The Spawn cartoon came out in the '90s too.
Yeah, that came to mind too. But I had to say Pokemon sort of won over because I literally have Pokemon tattooed in my arm. So
Pokemon is a banger though. Gotta catch them all, especially that first season with the OGs, the OG characters. They don't get no better than that.
I was
I mean,
obsessed as a kid, man. Like it's one of those things I don't like. It's not my thing now, but I still recognize it as such a huge part of my childhood, where
yeah,
nostalgia will always be there for me.
Pokemon was one of them Jones, man. So, bro, message to your fans and supporters, man. And then we get up out of here.
Well, thank you guys for stopping by, listening to us chat and shoot the shits, hearing me ramble about my life and interest. And if you are at all interested in any of my works, definitely find me on different social medias. Reach out to me. As I said, my web store has been acting up lately. So just, reach out to me and we'll get you squared away, whether it's Isnana, the Were Spider, or Hammer. And if you just want some really cool black stories and horror or sci-fi, I got you.
Bro, I truly appreciate you coming on to the show, man, and showing love to the stream. Um, you are now officially concrete approved, bro. And I'm gonna start sending out like stamps. You know what I'm saying? Like badges to wear when you go out. It's gonna say concrete approved on it, man. But nah, bro, I truly enjoyed hearing your story, hearing your origin, and just hearing how you plan on leaving a legacy out here in the world, man. I truly appreciate everything that you've done and bring to the culture.
I appreciate you,
Thank,
man.
thank you, thank you. This is fun. Oh yeah, no, for sure, for sure. And shout out to everybody that was commenting, man, and dropping comments in there. I think you definitely caught a couple people off guard with your Superman takes. You know what I'm saying? So but but it's all good, man. It's all good. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody judging here, Greg. You know what I
Man,
mean?
it's my guy, man.
But
It's,
yeah, no, this was definitely fire. This is dope. We gonna have you on again. Anything you got dropping soon? Come back on the show. Let's talk about it and let's really knock it out, man. But once again, y'all, I appreciate that. It's Concrete Approved. Y'all know to tune in every Tuesday or Thursday at 8 p.m. I'm going to have a guest on every week. I'm bringing the culture back. I'm bringing the positivity back. And stay off of them drama streets, man. Y'all know the vibes, y'all. We out of here.